I'm going to tell you what you need to know when buying a house. Because buying a house is a really complex process and there's so much that's involved. And I know for buyers, it's really scary. In this day and age, with all the information on the internet, it can be really overwhelming when you're trying to do research yourself. So I'm just going to break it down really easy for you. And this is also great for other real estate agents, especially if you're new, to learn what actually happens during the process. So I know you hear this a lot, but typically it's a good idea to get pre-qualified from a lender. And they don't need a lot of information. Typically it's just your social security number and your gross income, not your net, and a little bit about what you owe on your revolving debt, like credit cards, car payment, things that are on credit. They just need to know what your payments are so they could look at something called debt to income ratio. Your debt needs to be lower than like typically 40% of your income. But not all loan programs are the same. So there's other ones that you can go over that. So please don't come at me in the comments. But as a general rule of thumb, you need to be under like 50% of your gross income. That's your income before taxes. And I'm not a lender. I'm just giving you the process. So once you have someone pull your credit, it usually doesn't ding it a lot. A lot of people are worried about getting their credit pulled. They're also worried about giving their financial information to some total stranger, AKA lender. And so with that being said, it's a little bit scary for some people because maybe they want to know if they can get pre-approved, but they're actually more scared and more worried that they might not get pre-approved and they'll be let down. And a lot of times that's the only reason why they aren't doing that right away. Because most people think looking at homes is actually the most fun part, like shopping for homes. So I get it. They want to kind of go look at some homes, see what they could get for a certain amount of money, even though they don't even know typically what they can buy or what they're maxed out at. They want to just dip their toe in the water, and I get it. So a lot of real estate agents that are seasoned really want to see you get the pre-qual before taking you out to look at a bunch of homes that you may or may not be able to get or afford or whatever, especially when we have to factor in the payment, the taxes, HOA dues, and insurance. And sometimes certain communities or certain areas or certain condo developments have really high fees, and you wouldn't be able to afford it at a certain price point because of that. So I'm not trying to go down the rabbit hole too much, but the next part of the process is looking at homes. And then the next part of the process is actually finding a home that you like and then having your buyer agent do a comparative market analysis. They need to find out if the home that you like that's listed for X amount of price is actually worth that price. You can't just rely on the listing price and go, let's just try to get it for cheaper. That's a horrible idea. A real consultant, a real buyer agent will show you all of the comparable sales for the last 6 months that are just like that home, and you can come up with a price together. And we also want to make sure that if you're using a loan, that it's going to appraise, meaning an appraiser is going to come out during your contract and actually make sure that the bank is covered and that the home is worth what you are paying for it. And so the only way to do that is to look at the past 6 months of sales. So if your buyer agent isn't doing that, you need to ask them to do it. And then the next thing that happens is from contract to close, the appraisal's happening, the inspection's happening. You have to waive or say whether or not you want inspections. And let me just tell you, after doing 1,500 closings and being in this business for 26 years, I highly encourage you to get every inspection known to man, because once you close on it, it's yours. It's really hard to have recourse or to prove things were broken sometimes, and you don't want to have to go down the rabbit hole of legal things. So you want to just make sure that it's tip-top shape before you close on it. Closing is acceptance of whatever it is in that shape and form. Your agent is typically going to make an attorney or a title company do the title and do all the documents and explain all of the loan documents to you, which is kind of backwards. You get the lender to make the loan and approve the loan, and they ask you for all of the documents like your W-2s, pay stubs, tax returns to give you the loan. But the lender the title company or the attorney that closes it will actually explain all the paperwork of the loan. And the stack is like this big. I mean, it's brutal. It's bigger than this. It's so big for a lot of you guys. Like, you're going to sign your name probably 80 times. And the closing takes an hour generally. If you have a lot of questions, it might take a little longer. And you'll have to bring your driver's license and prove who you are, or a passport, something like that. And in most states and most cases, you can't get in the home until you closed on it and it's recorded and dispersed. Like, meaning the money from your lender is at the attorney or title company already for your loan, and they've approved it, and they have seen all your signatures on the paperwork. It's all been sent over electronically, and the bank is like, okay, we've made the loan, we approve, everything looks good, it's recorded, and now you can have the keys. A lot of agents or sellers will not give you the keys until this is done. So just because you signed it doesn't mean it's a done deal. The money also has to be there. And a lot of times the money isn't there because the bank has dropped the ball, or you didn't give them something they needed to be able to close on time. Other hiccups that can happen is when they search the title, something happened within the title search, like where previous sellers or previous buyers of the property didn't do something correctly on the deed, aka the attorney or the title company maybe messed up. So that's another reason why sometimes you can't close until that is fixed. But you want that fixed. You want a clear title to the property when you get it so that you don't have any issues selling it going forward. As a broker in charge over 50 plus agents at times, and going through thousands of transactions and getting asked so many questions and seeing just about everything, and even every day I get new stuff just put in front of me. This is a wacky project, a whole entire real estate sale, and so many parts and pieces are happening at the same time, and there's literally like 15 people that touch your file and have to be involved with this process. So it's not easy, but if you have a really good real estate agent guiding you, then it seems like it's an easy job. A lot of people, I think, complain on here on this platform that real estate agents don't do anything. Well, a lot of times if you have a smooth sale, it's because they did all the things and you just didn't see what they were doing.